This is a snippet from a recent webcast on the KPI paradigm shifts of POMP, which I co-hosted with my POMP partner for North America, Louise Watson. We explore the meaning and symptoms of paradigm shift number 1. Measurement is for improvement, not judgment. Before performance measurement can align everyone to our strategic direction and strategy implementation, our thinking must change. Louise and I will walk you through the meaning and the symptoms of one of the most important KPI paradigm shifts to make. That measurement is for improvement, not judgment. And we will share with you 3 questions to help trigger this shift in your organisation.
Our first paradigm shift is measurement is for improvement, not judgment. So what people believe a KPI or metric or performance measure will be used for, it fundamentally affects whether performance is going to improve or not. Performance measures can be used for improvement, but too often we see that they are also used for, or instead used for judgment. So if we focus on using measurement for improvement, what that means is that we let our measures show us what isn't performing well enough, and we go and find out why, and we change what isn't working. Using measurement for improvement encourages a culture of continuous improvement and learning to make business processes better. And continuous improvement is how organizations reach their goals, how they fulfill their purpose, and how they bring their vision to life. But if we focus on using measurement for judgment, it means that we're trying to find out who or what to blame when performance isn't good enough. Using measurement for judgment, it only encourages a culture that shuts down learning and collaboration. And it's a culture that rewards quick fixes, but quick fixes will eventually erode the organization's success. It won't build it. So this paradigm shift is fundamental to whether measurement's ever going to lead to true and lasting performance improvement. There are some symptoms that suggest your organization might still be stuck in this paradigm of measurement for judgment.
So the symptoms that your organization has not yet made this paradigm shift and is still stuck in using measurement for judgment can sound like this. So let's reveal that first symptom. The first symptom is that KPIs or measures are used to directly measure individual people, like in their PPPs, their personal performance plans, or their personal performance reviews. Measurement is the enemy to many people when they are caught in this situation. It makes most people feel like their worth is reduced to just a few numbers. And those numbers, often they're even outside their control, or they feel trivial. They even feel like they take the focus off of important things. So even if measures aren't used in employee performance management, the next step, the second symptom, can still create the same fears and cynicism that are often unspoken in organizations. So let's look at that second one, B. The second symptom is that managers and leaders use the KPIs to manage staff, but no one uses them to manage processes. This can make KPIs feel like rods on the backs of their people, meaning that someone above them is using the KPI as a rod, like to make them do something. Like when a manager uses KPIs to monitor rework, but the team doesn't have any access to those KPIs. But the manager still makes it the team's responsibility to reduce the rework. Let's look at C, which is the third symptom. And the third symptom is that people, meaning the leaders, managers, employees, are held accountable for hitting targets. This is also known as metric fixation, which for those of you who might have read Jerry Mueller's book, The Tyranny of Metrics, this might sound familiar. What it means is it means that people will only do what's needed to quickly hit a target. The focus is all around hitting the target. And to do this, they might manipulate data, which is very common, also known as cheating, as we say. using vanity metrics, or taking shortcuts just to make it look like they're able to hit those targets.
Here are 3 questions that might start some good conversations and raise awareness. But over to you, Louise.
Thank you. Yeah, and what I love about these questions is that they're here to help you trigger the conversations when you're back in your workplace, to help people like think about the paradigm shift while you're doing this. So let's explore these questions. Question number 1, why do we believe that how an organization performs is driven mostly by individual employee performance, which shows up when we measure as individuals? How people work together in teams, really, within the organization is what is key to performance. But when leaders and managers judge each employee individually, it breaks the collective bond and it shuts down collaboration and shared learning. So as a result, it drives more individualistic behavior and less collaboration, less of what we want to be having happening. So let's look at trigger question number 2. Well, are we routinely getting large and sustained improvements in performance? Or are the bursts of improvement short-lived? So we're giving you these trigger questions to sort of think about when you go back into the workplace, like how can we pose a question without judgment, without really expectation, to get the conversation going? So we give you these little bits of information below it for you to keep thinking about it. Because when management and teams don't use KPIs as feedback on not just what's working well, but also on what is not working as well as hoped, they can't fix it. So this question will help you explore when you're back in the workplace if you're doing too much guessing, whether it's leading to solutions that are simply quick fixes or they don't even work. So let's look at question number 3. Trigger question number 3. What's more important to us, hitting targets or learning how to continually make performance better? This is a direct question that will hopefully, raise some awareness that hitting targets does not always equate to making performance better within your organization or your department or your teams. It might also help to find 1 or 2 stories. Think about what's going on in your organization and find 1 or 2 stories that are about when hitting targets might have made performance worse, not better. And this is what we need to think about. Are we using targets for a good purpose? Over to you, Stace. What do you think?
Well, fundamentally, these sorts of questions, and I'm sure everyone's picked up on this, the idea is to put a spotlight on the bad assumptions that we often make and have taken for granted for too long. So there is no doubt that it is hard to turn people into truth seekers, into evidence-based decision makers in a society, I guess, that's so driven by short-term achievement. But we have to start somewhere. You guys are with Louise and I right now, so we invite you to be the ones to start this as well, to prompt more conversations and awareness with questions like these.